Hello and welcome to the VloggingPod. Today we are joined by author of The Greatest Revelation, Anubhav Anand, and I'm hoping I pronounced that correctly. Awesome! Point for me. Okay. So from what I understand, and let me know if I get this right, okay? Um, you've written poetry, but this is your real first book that you've put out, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So what I've done is I've done some research just based around this current body of work. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today, which is just as a reminder to our audience is called the Grandest Revelation. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So first off, I want to travel a little bit in time, back to 2015, where we find you sitting next to a window on a train. Tell me what
Yeah.
thought process went through your mind about a possible book.
Yeah. Actually, it's way back, from 2015 as well. If I remember correctly, I think, when I was in fifth standard or sixth standard, I created some, stories in notebooks, which I lost sadly.
Uh huh.
And then I wrote some few excerpts in my computer as well, which and the hard drive crashed, so I lost it again. So at that time I quit writing, and because I thought that I wasn't ready enough to write something uh, long stories and those kind of things. And plus, I just thought that it wasn't the right time. So in 2015, when I was traveling, on that train, which you said really well. And I think I was traveling back, from my college to home. and
Ah.
uh, and it was yeah, yeah. And I think it was past midnight, and the train, all the passengers were sleeping, and I was just staring, at this sky. And I really think that I stared at sky with a very different angle, from a very different angle. I just thought that, what if those stars can be transformed in a human form, and if that is possible, so if those stars could transform into a human form, then obviously, since they have abundant energy, so they will, be having some power. So at that point, it just struck me that it can be, a supernatural plot and excellent adventure. I just thought those kind of things, and I just sat with it. That plot, and that was it. That was the overview concept, which I have used in this book. And I just held with it, and it just happened to me.
Okay. We're getting a little bit of feedback. You're coming in and out. I can't tell if you're pacing or if it's just the signal. But let me get what the gist of what you were saying. So basically, you were on the train coming back from
Okay.
college, and your thought process was,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
if a star could be actually be a body in aspects of a person? Yes.
yeah. True,
Okay.
true. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. All right. I was following. Okay. Okay. So with the thought process of the grandest revelation in 2015, let's go into
Hmm.
detail with us on the writing process, which I believe you started in 2018.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
So tell me about how the process for you went on writing it.
Yeah, so it happened again. Like when I created the plot in 2015, I just I thought that, once again, I am not ready to, convert that plot into a story, because creating a gist of something, is one thing, and writing that, in correct form is really a deep work.
Yes.
And and yeah, so I just thought that it wasn't the right time for me at that time as well.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2018, I don't know, I mean, it just stuck to me that, it's enough. I think I have been sitting with this, a very long time, and I must do, something with it. I mean, what so I just, I just began, creating some lines, some excerpts in a very slow pace, and that's it. I wrote in a very slow pace at the beginning, which
Mm-hmm.
was really, which was the early draft which I created, and then I progressed, eventually until I completed, last year.
Got you. So, from what I'm hearing, it started out slow because you were kind of feeling your way through it. You were trying to feel what direction you wanted to take the story. So, once you found your niche, your momentum as in writing started to increase, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
true. Because,
Okay.
yeah, once I began writing it, the flow started. I was like, okay, okay. It's happening. I mean, once the chapter has ended, I know what has to be written next. So I think it happened very. It changed very drastically, and I really speeded. So that was it. Yeah, yeah.
Right. Okay. So you started out slow, and then all of a sudden it just kind of rushed in on you. You knew where you were going. That's kind of an awesome, though. So once you
Yeah.
really got your niche and your feel to where the story, it just really started to come about. I get that.
Yeah.
So with all this time jumping that we've done from 2015 to 2018, um, in the
Mm.
Grandest Revelations creation, did you ever find yourself needing a push? I mean, did you find yourself that you were just stagnant and you needed that little push, or kind of like a writer's block scenario? Did you ever find that along this time?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think, I guess that it happened mostly in 2018 to 2020,
Mm-hmm.
more, rather in 2015 to 2018, because in those years, once I created the plot in 2015, I just, kept it aside. I mean, I um, didn't think about it much. I just, I distracted myself, to some other thing, because I was in college. So I guess the writer's block that happened to me is, I think, in around 2019, which, where I was stuck, at some chapters, and I was and I had no clue, how to, get to the next point, and at that point of the time, I just, stopped writing, for a couple of months, and I, started. I changed my, course of living. Just
Mm-hmm.
watching TV shows and movies, and I was just and I just I just distracted myself from that point, and once, but I believe that it happens with every writer, that if you get, if you get to this point, then there will obviously come a point where, you will, get past that. You will surpass that point,
Right.
and then, because the ideas never stop, coming to you. It will come to you if you
Oh yeah.
get, you have this one. So yeah, so that,
Oh, I get
so
you. I get you
it
on the
worked out.
ideas. I fully understand what you're saying about the ideas always come. I think if we're anything alike, you probably have an idea book that you jot stuff down in. Because that's me. I have like
Yeah.
yeah, they're littered about my studio and the house. I have all these little notebooks, and then I'll be like, wait a minute, where was that one note about this or that? And I'll have to go searching for it. So yes, I fully understand. Even going to sleep at night and waking up in your dreams can even have a
Oh, oh,
yeah.
this
Yes.
happens with me. Some of the ideas, came to my dream, actually,
Mm.
and I've used, it in Grandest Revelation as well, and some of the plot, which I have, which I might be using in some other plot. So I think, yeah, this happens. If you're thinking too much, and
Yes.
it will come to your dreams as well.
Oh yes.
So
I
that's something
I
which,
totally agree with you. Or just when you're just in your daily routine of brushing your teeth or showering or washing your hair, ideals will come and you'll be like, oh wait a minute, I need to make sure I think about that. Running to turn off the water just so you can jot something down. I feel you. they
totally,
right.
totally.
They always come at the time when you're not in front of your either your typewriter or your computer screen. That's when the
Hmm.
ideas hit you.
Hmm.
So let's
Yeah.
talk a little bit about your characters. I want to find out how you make your characters so relatable to your readers.
uh, yeah, really, that really something, because you know uh, when I created this book, it was all about the stars and universe. So I really, took my time to think about the characters, like how I will be placing them, and where I will be beginning their journey. And I mean, as I said, that it has some of the supernatural characteristics, so I just thought that let's make them, I mean, across all over the world,
Mm-hmm.
across all over the globe, and I really placed them, from, one character is from Australia, one character is from uh, London, one is from Mexico. So I just did that, and I mean, at that time, I really wanted to create a compass, like, if I can relate this to, some of the science, or anything, but yeah, so that's how, I placed those characters, because uh, for, like, when I created the story, that those characters were doing the justice for me, and those were, the main characters, which I mean, which I designed at that time. So yeah, that was something. And I also think that I, put some of my, I mean, in all the characters, you can see some of my traits. You can see
Oh,
some, I mean,
some of your
yeah, yeah,
traits. Oh, now I need to look closer.
yeah. I
Okay.
mean, like, I mean, there is a character, who is aggressive. There is a character who loves to think, while seeing a wall. So, I do that sometimes. I just stare at the wall and, think for some time, and, so, some of the things that I have wrote, yeah, I mean, putting my traits on them. So those are my. I mean, I really believe that, those are my babies. That I'm
Oh,
working.
I fully understand. Now, when you created, I said you got some people from other countries. Did you travel a bit? So do you have some kind of
Oh,
go
oh,
go ahead.
no, not
Okay.
not at all. Not at all.
All right, no
I
traveling.
just,
Okay.
I just, I just, used a lot of internet and Google, and just worked it out.
Oh, now you're my kind of
And
traveler, because that's what I do. I'm an internet junkie as far
yeah,
as my research. I
yeah,
got you.
yeah. I mean, like, nowadays, I mean, in maps, you can do 3D mapping, and you
Yes.
can actually be at that place, and you can, shift the arrow. So I really found out some of the streets of Mexico, like that. So yeah, that's how it.
Well, that's the interesting thing, though. I mean, with social media, you can really dive in to someone else's lifestyle. Um,
totally.
So you can go to YouTube and you can probably listen to someone from an Australian accent.
Hmm.
So these are things that you
Hmm.
can, you know what I mean, you can find at your fingertips. Don't get me wrong, I'm
Yeah.
envious of those people that can actively travel, but yeah, yeah, I'm more you. I'd like the internet.
Yeah. I guess that it requires a lot of research and your time,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it gives you, I mean, you can really work it out. I researched a lot, in this book. I mean, there is a lot of things that I really needed. I mean, because I really thought that I really have no information at all. I mean, what am I doing when I was trying? Because this was science fiction. I mean, this was supposed to be science fiction, and this is science fiction book. So I really, have to work. I had to work a lot on those concepts as well. So yeah, that was the
Okay, let's see. Let's take a moment and I want to talk about your genres because in the course of the Grandest Revelation, I see that you cross genres a little bit.
yeah,
Can you tell
yeah,
us
yeah.
which genres you've done that with and maybe why?
See, like some of the, I mean, this will be a little bit of spoiler.
Okay, okay, don't give
Some
us
of
too
the,
much of a spoiler. Just we'll talk about the genres a little bit, and then just skirt the line, maybe on.
I mean,
Okay, because we don't want you to give away
okay,
the entire story.
yeah, yeah. No, I really,
Okay.
I know. So, so I think I have used, a glimpse of historical fiction in this book. From the time of, from the time of, Stone Age, Iron Age, and Bronze Age, those kind of ages, and at the time of Lord Jesus or King Arthur. I have used those timelines as well, in a couple of chapters. So, I have related that, with the concept that I was using in this novel. And it just happened that, it kind of created the characteristic of historical fiction in this book. And then there is also some instances of romance, because there are multiple characters, and so this has to be done, to give the justice to the storyline. So
Right.
romance is there, and then a thriller is there. If you are reading the book, and if you wanted it to be a page turner, so you have to keep some instances of thriller. So yeah, those are some of the the base is science fiction fantasy, of
Right.
course, but
Well,
these are some of the, yeah, yeah.
well, I'm gonna read just a little bit of your bio of your book, so that way our readers understand the book that we're referring
Yeah,
to.
true, true.
All right, this is
Yeah.
astrophysics professor, author Kane Davis, survived a mysterious war way before the prehistoric era, only to brew plans in the present era to face the upcoming war once again. At the same time, Sean Hammer, Grisha Hathaway, and Raven Bond encountered their respective hardships in different locations, just to unite together at a certain point where their paths were deemed to be crossed together. This convergence that they thought was so coincidental didn't turn out to be so. The trio learned several theories and notions about their speciality that they thought didn't exist or had to check with the reality. With the indulgence of Davis, other folks of their kind, the mystery began to unfold when they realized how large the picture was. They were the immediate descendants of the stars. Now, there's a little bit more, but that is intriguing. And there is a little bit more on the bio. That is very intriguing. It is. Let's see. It says, imagine if the stars would have life, then so they would have immense powers, the powers that have kept them alive for eons, the powers that sometimes destroyed extraterrestrials and created chaos in the universe, because the universe was divided between good and evil stars. But then, did the descendants know everything? Have they entirely understood the notions and origins, their specialties and powers? Would they be able to adjust, or fate would be revamped upon some anomalies? And lastly, was it about saving the universe from the evil stars, or some conspiracy lied within the structure? Very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah,
We're basically out of time, but I want you to leave me with just one more question, if you wouldn't mind. Um,
yeah, yeah, sure, sure,
Tell
sure.
us something about you as an author, and that would want us to stay tuned to you, because I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a next book in this series. I just have this feeling. So tell us something that we should be looking forward to as you as an author. What's our next big thing coming from you?
In terms of work,
Uh huh.
you mean?
Yes.
In terms of work, all right, yeah. So definitely, the story of the Grandest Revelation is, is such that I have uh, I just stopped, the ending of the first part at a point where it needs to be, uh, carried on. So a couple of more books will be there, of this title, and I really, I also wanted to say that this is a science fiction book, and it just happened that I wrote this book, as a science fiction, and I never, wanted to write a science fiction. The plot was such that it, you know, gradually happened science fiction, but I am more, into a crime drama, or
Mm-hmm.
psychological fiction and those kind of things as well. So I'm also creating, some plots, that can do justice to those genres,
Right.
in near future. So
Wonderful.
yeah, those things I can do
Well,
it.
I know you say science fiction isn't your specialty, but I think this book will say different. I want to thank you so much for being on the show today. It was a pleasure having you with us.
I just want to take a moment and say that you are a really wonderful host,
Aw,
area, and really thank
you're
you,
all my
thank you
pleasure.
for. It was really fun.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you again, all the audience members who come
Thank you.
in every day and listen to our podcast. Our next podcast won't be until next Thursday, but I want to thank you again for coming in tonight, for being my guest once again, and thank you, my audience. Have a great night, everyone. Bye bye for now.